Hello everyone and welcome to Ball and Chain. This is a one-off for us. We've not done this before, but we're making this a new feature just simply because of all the action that happened in the Sheffield United and Southampton game. So we're going to do a little special one-off tester pilot just to see what these one-off shows look like for a single game, just because there was so much to cover in that game. I felt compelled to do a video that talk about my reaction during and after the game immediately, and then one on reflection, having watched the extended highlights and seen some of the incidents back where I'm able to replay it and pause it and actually see what happened in real time. With that benefit of hindsight, to show how my views changed as a result of seeing that information. I wanted to make sure that I got that balanced view before I did this video. So really looking forward to doing something really targeted and specific, especially as it's the team that I love and know. Okay, so let's drop in, grab a drink, and let's crack on with this show. Alright, let's start to do this video that we've decided to do today, which is on the Sheffield United versus Southampton game. And I've got to say, it was probably one of the most emotionally charged games I've ever been on and attended in my life. And unfortunately, that wasn't because of the teams. It was because the referee sort of marred the show and decided to take over. And it's all about me, referee, which infuriates me. Like I've always said, referees should be invisible. When they're not invisible, it's just annoying. So BBC being BBC, let me just show you this, which I found quite humorous when I looked at the report, and then I looked at how they were scoring the team, and the scores they've given at it. I mean, yeah, we weren't amazing, and I do agree. Tom Davies and Tanganga were probably our best player, closely followed by Ben Mee. But like knocking us to 3. Like cannon shit, yeah, I agree with that. It was terrible. Burrows wasn't great. He got skinned all the time by a really great winger. I thought Peck wasn't great. But to give Southampton, Ross Stewart was man of the match. Happy for that to happen. I didn't think Shea Charles were anything that good. I thought Fellows played really well. He had Burrows on toast quite a lot. But that I just think that's just bang off. It doesn't tell the story of the game, and the ratings are bang out. And I don't know if that's how they do that, but BBC, you have dropped a right ball there because it's terrible. Ross Stewart was absolutely amazing. In the right time, the right part of the pitch, it was absolutely fantastic. I can't argue with the percentage. I actually thought we dominated though at certain points. There were times in the game. I think we all had spells in the game, and we looked in that first half. We went in 1-0 up. They missed a penalty. I thought we were a better team. So let me just summarise some of the key talking points from that game. In around, I think it was the 25th minute, Ben Mee went in and made an absolutely world-class challenge that would have set play up. The referee decided to book him and give a free kick. I watched the highlights and unfortunately it wasn't the highlights, but how that's a free kick, I'll never know. Like, the game's gone. If that amazing slide tackle is a foul, we might as well just stop playing football. It was absolutely one of the most ridiculous decisions I've seen in a long time. Like, that was a great tackle. All the team were high-fiving him, and the referee blows up and books him. Just brainless, like, referee. And the reason why I got so upset with the referee is there were certain points in the game where a player was offside. The goalkeeper had the ball and the ref put his flag up. The linesman put his flag up. The ref then decided to blow his whistle, make the keeper put the ball on the ground, and then proceed to give another whistle to let him know he could start play. 10 seconds of the game was wasted by not showing any level of common sense. Like, play the frigging game. Yes, he was offside. There's no advantage to be gained by calling a foul. Let the keeper play the ball and let them just play the game and let him counter-attack if they want. Like, this was a Southampton opportunity, and I'm saying the ref ruined the game for them. So, like, I might be a Sheffield United fan, but I'm a football fan first, and that is just this referee just ruined the game right from the start. I could see Chris Wilder getting more and more riled up, and I'll come to that. I'm saying that in the story at half time. We then had a great bit of play. Like, O'Hare was played through quite a lot, and that final ball to release either Hamer or Tyrese Campbell, he had two options every time, running ahead of him, and every time he played the ball behind the man. Now, I think Callum O'Hare's a decent player, but he has got to improve. Got to improve his distribution there. Like, playing it behind the man just gave the defender a yard on him. And we could have had so many goals if he'd have played that ball. Like, his runs were brilliant. His positioning was perfect. It was just the weight of the pass just was not right. And that is the difference between us this season. Like, putting teams to bed. Which, if we'd have gone in 3-0 up at half time, we would have put them to bed. But we did not do that. And that was our biggest regret. I looked... my friend turned to me and said, we need to take advantage of this. Like, if we don't get another goal here, we're going to suffer. And he was bang on right, and we paid the price for that ultimately. So some questions, like, all the way, petty refereeing decisions, all the way. I'm just going to scroll down to this stat. There were 7 yellow cards shown in that game. He really had a field day. The referee really had a fit. My dog's not happy with the ref either. We had 7 cards in that game, and the referee was like a poker dealer, just literally lobbing cards at anybody for any challenge. Like, he did that early on, and he set a precedent that was an absolute nightmare. Sorry, you can't see the stats. I'm just going to show it here. Look at that. 3 yellow cards for the Blades, and 4 yellow cards for Southampton. Absolutely, like, crazy, ridiculous. You look at our tackles, both teams made 14 tackles, very similar. We had a high percent. I've got to say Tanganga was amazing again. Ben Meat was amazing again. Like, I think this sort of style that we've got now with the amount of players we've got is definitely working. Like, playing free at the back, playing that defence as it is, works really well. And I think it's definitely something that we should maintain, because it gives us a really solid platform to build from. Still think that midfield and attack needs a little bit more. I don't know. We need a bit more from that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. That's hopefully Super Chrissy Wilder's going to sort it out. If you look at the amount of possession, again, like 4 forward passes more by Southampton. Oh, can you see that? Yeah, 4 forward passes more. Yeah, we played more long balls. Don't give a shit about that. Successful final third passes. We played nearly 20, 20 balls nearly more, which is a significant amount. What's that, 25%? And we put more crosses in the box. I was complaining saying I don't think we crossed it enough. Actually, when I've watched the extended highlights, we crossed it loads. Like, we crossed the ball in the box quite a lot. There was just nobody there. There was no presence in the box. And that's my big frustration with United. Like, we moaned at the tip-tap on the edge of the area, but actually for 70 minutes they didn't. They were getting the ball in, or balls were played through. They were just poor balls, or there were nobody in the box. Or when they did play the ball in the box, the man was either out of position and the ball wasn't played to our man, it was played miles away. So again, there's certain bits of this that we can really learn from. But I've got to say, on the whole, much more positive performance. Like, probably the best performance I've seen this season from United. Definitely things are going in the right direction, so definitely reasons to be optimistic. Right, let's get back to that referee. So Cooper comes out, and I think, what was this, in about the 40th, it might have been the 45th minute actually. Cooper comes, Stewart's played through, and he was brilliant all game. Like, give him credit, he's a class striker. I know he's had his fitness issues for Southampton, but he was class. Like, so he runs through, Cooper runs out, pulls his arms away, but Stewart falls over him, and, you know, at the time, I thought Cooper had got his hand on it, and the ball went in that direction. He got nothing on it. I watched the replay, paused it and everything, and like a VAR should do, and it's a pen. Like, I'd love to give an excuse where if the boot was on I thought I'd be like, that's a dead pen. At the time, I was in the south stand, I couldn't see it very well. It's a pen. Like, just gotta accept it. But Armstrong stepped up, and a notoriously great penalty taker skied it into the cop. And, you know, when things like that go for you, you know, when it felt like justice was done, on reflection it wasn't, it was a clear pen. But on reflection you think, well, those sort of things going for you have got to be a good thing. But during the heat of that game, the referee made so many questionable decisions that you questioned the penalty, because you'd lost confidence in the referee. And I could see Wilder on the touchline going, like, really losing his rag all game at the players. and the ref, it was just cut a really frustrated figure. And to be fair, all the fans around him we were all frustrated with that referee. He just ruined the first half and the game. We thought it couldn't get any worse. Then we came out for the second half and it did. So what happened? Wilder comes out and just like smashes the ball into the crowd, and I think it's like, oh shit. He like realised straight away he did something wrong, and then went in, apologised to her. Like, it was all fine. Like it was like a storm in a teacup. But the dickhead referee was stood on the line, like on the halfway line, waiting for his officials, like he was a Premiership referee, you know, Mr. Big, waiting to get escorted properly away because everyone was fucking going apeshit at him. And then he walks up to Wilder and shows him the red card, and everyone's like, "What are you doing? Like, could you be any more like come across as being corrupt or come across as being so anti-Sheffield United?" And then he goes and does that, and obviously everyone, even the players were going crazy. Like, it got everybody's back up. And I honestly think then, obviously, Wilder's sent off. Like, he's no, so poor Alan Neil stood there on his own in the second half. But, like, so I don't know what Wilder said at half-time. It must have been so difficult. Like, if I was going in at half-time, I would have been like, this ref's, like, against us. Like, forget getting anything from this bastard because he's not giving us anything. Like, it was absolutely crazy. And anyway, then so we come out for second half. Obviously, Wilder's nowhere to be seen, and he can't be. So poor Alan Neil stood there on the sideline, and we kick off, and Southampton went for it. Like, they come out and they'd been buoyed by that penalty. Will Still had obviously laid into them and said, "Yo, this is not good enough." So play continues. I mean, it's bit basketball back and forth, and then they get a corner. Corner comes in. There's a header. It looks like it's going out. I'll be fair, it does look like it's going out. Hits the crossbar, comes back into play. Every single United player is ball watching, not reacting to play. Now, I'm not on that field, so as a spectator, I'm thinking it's gone over. I'm going to check my phone and see if any of my bets are coming. And all of a sudden you hear this gasp because it hits the crossbar, and all the players have just stood there like that, like waiting for it to go out. And it's like, guys, you're professional players. Like, what did we always say when you're on in Sunday League or on when you're a kid playing football? It's play to the whistle every single time. Like, these basics, like, you're a professional football, get the basics right, and you've got the solid foundation to move from. They ball watched, everybody ball watched. Ross Stewart again alive to it, smashed it in the net, and it's like, and they're all throwing their hands up. I'm like, guys, you've got nobody to blame but yourselves. You ball watch there, and there's no excuse for that. That's basics. And I can imagine Wilder again. He must have been so close to his blood pressure hitting the roof, because I was, and I'm not even the manager, so like that was been infuriating, and that was infuriating as a fan, because you'd had the referee just winding us up, and then that happened. And I think the United fans, like, credit to us, we all got back behind the team though, and really, really got behind them to try and get them rallied. And then literally 7 minutes later, Stewart turns, and it was, you hold your hands up with good goals. And this one, if you're going to lose a game, you want to lose it to a goal like this, because he turned and he absolutely rifled it into the... But I don't think it was just quite top bins, but it was more or less, it was nestled right in the corner, like high up. Cooper won't get into it. It was a smash. Like, you can't blame Cooper. There's no keeper saving that. But could he have been closed down? If I'm really nitpicking, probably should have been closed down. But he beat a man. Like, he turned him, and somebody came flying in, but it was just too late. And it was just a quality striking. Like, what can you do? Like, that is a moment of class from a great striker who's high in confidence. He scored 2 fantastic goals. He was a thorn in our side, like, won the penalty. Total man of match. No quibbles about that. It was absolutely brilliant. And he deserved his goal. Moments before that, though, there were 2 key moments for United, way before they even scored their first goal. So there was a free kick that Hamer took, played it round the outside, and O'Hare was running to the cop and had nearly a one-on-one with the keeper. And the keeper pulls off a great save. That should have been a goal. And it was a fantastically well... Again, that Hamer-O'Hare chemistry really comes to show. I think when those two, like, really connect and click, and if movement's happening around them, they are 2 of the most devastating players you will play against. Their movement and chemistry is amazing. We just haven't seen it enough, but we saw it then. And again, the one criticism of O'Hare, he works so hard for the team, but he just does not score. He needs to score more goals, and he didn't. And ultimately, there was no goal as a result of that. The keeper made a great save. Then, just after that, another great attacking play from United. And similarly, it's those little through balls. but there was a great bit into play. Again, I think it was Hamer and O'Hare, released Campbell, who got into the ball, he shaped, and you thought, same as the first goal that he scored, it was a fantastic goal. He shaped to score it and curl it into the corner, and it went just wide. But, you know, you'd have put your mortgage on it, because Ty from there is clinical. And I thought that was a goal. It was for Ty, that was a big miss. Like, normally Campbell will just smash it in the net. Like, the first goal that he scored was, again, class. Took a defender on, shaped his body, left foot, curled it round the keeper, into the net. It was a beautiful goal. Great bit of skill that Tyree scored. And again, Gus assist. So you've got Gus, O'Hare and Campbell. That front three is really devastating. We just need more from the back, and we need more from those wing backs pushing in, like, and causing and creating more space. We just didn't have the space created all game. When we did, and we got forward, we looked dangerous. And we saw that from Campbell's goal and the two chances that we created. After that point, we felt like we were chasing it. And what my biggest frustration with United is, when we chase it, we look too desperate. And everybody then gets scared to put the ball in the box. And then you end up... So previously, up to that 70th minute point, or even 60th minute after they scored, we were just putting the ball in the box or playing really like concentrated passes. And they were getting there. And we looked dangerous. And we looked like, if we'd have got people in the box, we could have scored. Then we started getting to this tippy-tappy edge of the box. I'm scared to cross it because I don't want to give possession away because we're chasing game. And it was a fear factor. Like, we got like this last season when we're chasing games. It didn't happen very often, but it gets frustrating because you'll get Peck on the edge of the area passing it to the wing back. The wing back will then pass it back inside. It will then go all the way back to the central. It will work it back. And I get working the ball to make space, but it's too pedestrian, it's not fast enough, and it's not penetrating enough. And that's what really frustrates me. I think our big problem is when we play on the edge area, it's never with purpose, right? And we never are brave. And I'd love to see us, like, yes, we're chasing a game, yes, we're losing, but be brave and get the ball in the box. And we even started to push McGuinness up, but then he does his usual changes. Campbell comes off. I was hoping Ings would come on, but he brought Cannon on, which, look, I want to give every player a chance, but that kid has come in at 10 million, and he's been, like, I thought Brewster were wasting money, I thought McBurney were wasting money, but they've shown far more than Cannon has. Cannon's not even been injured like they were. At least he's been fit, that's one thing. But when he comes on, it just doesn't look bothered. He looks lazy. Like, he will not bust a gut and run. And, like, the one thing United Hearts love, and back me here, right, that when a player runs and busts a gut, like Callum O'Hare, like, I get frustrated because sometimes he can't pass it, he doesn't finish, he doesn't score enough, but you cannot fault his work rate. Like, the guy will run and run and run like a chicken. Like, he will bust a gut for the team, and I respect that. I might not appreciate... I think he's got more than he's showing. I think he's a better player than we see a lot of the time. I think he's technically far better than he's shown. I think there's still a lot to come from Callum O'Hare. But he runs, and I can't fault him for that. Even Gus runs. Like, Gus can be lazy, but Gus runs. Ty has been lazy this season, but at least he scores goals. Cannon does none of those. Like, he doesn't run, doesn't score, can't head a ball. He fouled the keeper for the second... Anyway, I'll get to the second goal. But you know what I mean? I'm getting wound up because... Cannon, like, you're a young lad, you've got the world at your feet, fucking run, please. So, like, I just want to see him care. Like, he won the ball a couple of times and he's throwing his hands up. I'm like, mate, like, you've not earned enough to be doing that yet and being like Mr. Pizzazz. Like, you need a bit more. We need more from you than that. So, like, I hope he works out. That goal, I thought the goal we scored against Burnley was really going to kick him on, but he never seems to have done that. Like, he is the type of player, he's a Gary Lineker player for me. He sits on the shit line and he just scores tap-ins. And if you get the ball in the box, Cannon will score. I guarantee it. We are not that type of team. Like, Campbell has to work and race through with his pace to get every goal or take a man on. Nobody puts anything on a plate for Tyrese and he still scores. Cannon expects it on a plate or needs it on a plate, and we don't play that way. He's not a fit for our team. I don't know whether playing another striker up with him, but we've tried that and it's still not worked. So I don't know how we get a tune out of Cannon. I think, again, it's another Wilder one where it is not done right. Anyway, so Cannon came on, usual story. Sariki came on for Ogbene. I thought Ogbene was all right without being amazing. Sariki came on and Sariki did what Sariki did. Continue to Ogbite, played well. And then I think he made another change, and I think he changed the formation, didn't he? Did he take? I'm just having a look at the subs. Did he sort of take Ben Mee off? Was it Ben Mee that he took off? I'm just looking to see if he'll tell me subs. Yeah, he did take Ben Mee came off. You see, I got it. So we made quite a few changes. Like Cannon came on in 71st minute with Matos for Tom Davies. Like, I've got to say, I thought Tom Davies was absolutely brilliant. Like, he was really, really good. And I felt like Tom Davies was one of the shining parts of that team. He looked like an old head, and he's got quality. I just hope to God he stays fit, because he's a really good player. So Matos came on for him. Again, Matos is young, he's raw, he's only just come into the team. Like, we've got to give him time. He looks like he might be a decent player. We spent big money on it, so he's got to. So that happened on the 70th and 71st minute. And then as soon as those guys come on, we looked desperate. We moved into desperation mode. We moved into tippy-tappy, passing it around the box and not having the balls to put it in the box. So then he makes a couple of changes on fullbacks. He changes he changes the formation. I think he goes and puts McGuinness up front as like a back three, which is extended, and McCallum at left back, Sariki at right wing back, and tries to push everybody on. And Matos sort of sat back a little bit, but joined play because he's quite an athletic player. And Peck just continued to be Peck. I've got to say, look, I love Sidney Peck. I think he's going to be an absolute class player. I don't think we've seen the best of him this season, and I think that's because he hasn't had Vinny Souza. I think we can't underestimate just the presence that Vinny Souza had and the freedom that gave Peck to be a little, and we could be a bit more forgiving. So Peck probably did give the ball away quite a lot. However, last season we didn't see it because Vinny just used to win it back, and you would go and notice he'd play back to Peck, and then Peck would play an amazing ball and all would be forgiven. He's not got that forgiving nature this season, and I think we've seen a lot, even in this game, the ball has been given away quite a few times in critical areas, and we've seen it the last few games, and that's led to some quite, putting us in a really dangerous position. And so I'd love to see Peck get a bit more consistency there. McCallum come on at left back for Burrows, who was getting skinned quite a lot by Tom Fellows. Tom Fellows had a really good game, and when he came off on the 46 minutes, I'm like, wow, that's good for us. Him coming off, that's really good. But they brought on some great players, and it was just for us quite challenging, because they've got a good squad. Like, you look at that squad, they've got a strong squad. So, like, it's no shame to be beaten by Southampton. I guess it was just the referee and the manner of the defeat that really got our goat. So those changes were made. We tic-tapped around the box. There was, Ogbene, just before Ogbene got subbed, he got his way into the box and got pushed over. I think contact was probably outside of the box. But again, referee just wave play on. Like, it's a clear foul, man. Like, you can see it on the edge of the box, and he didn't give it. Like, the fans were just going, I think we'd all given up. We're just like, we're not going to get anything from this referee. Just give up, because we're not going to get anything. And we didn't. And that was massively frustrating for me. But anyway, it is what it is. Like, I'm going to write it off because the referee was so poor. That happened. Okay, the big talking point for me of the game was the goal that never was. So we were peppering them all the time, and we won quite a few corners. Frustrating again, I'm going to go back to my complaining, but Gus, you're an amazing player. Just beat the first frigging man, please, for once. Like, every time they got a unit in the defence, I think it was that Quasi, and he was just a unit and just smashing everything away. Or it might have been Nathan Wood-Gordon, but they were smashing everything away. They were giant in the back, but still, like, we played a couple of like deep balls into the back post, and that was pushed back into play, and we looked threatening then, but a few corners Gus was firing in, we couldn't even beat the first man, and that's really frustrating. We had a lot of corners and we never capitalised. We've got some big guys now. We've got Tanganga, we've got McGuinness, who's a giant. Like, put it on their head and they'll cause trouble, but we never did that, and it was really, really frustrating. But anyway, we did fire a corner in. It went right across, and then the guy who really we want to score, who can't buy a goal, puts the ball in the back of the net, Sidney Peck, and he loves it. Everybody's jumping about. Peck runs, goes to the corner kick, and smashes the corner and snaps the corner flag. It's his first goal for the club. High emotion, like, we're drawing 2-2. Everything's been against us, and he scores a goal. What does the referee do? Puts his whistle to his mouth and bans the goal. No goal. So look, at the time, I was like, fuck. I think my blood pressure were up the roof. I'm sure every other Unitedites were. And I was just going ape shit. Like, everyone was off the seat screaming at the referee. It's an absolute joke. And so I've watched the replay. So at the time, I'm like, this referee's corrupt. How much has he been paid in a brown paper envelope? He'll be going with a wad of cash after this game as well as his wages. Like, well done, referee. You've definitely earned your bribe money tonight. And then I've watched it back, and I've seen Cannon grab hold of the keeper. Like, there's loads of wrestling, and let's be clear, right? Throughout the whole of the game, McGuinness was literally having his shirt pulled off his back, and the referee never blew it once. And there was one incident, one time in the second half, where McGuinness literally had his shirt up and his stomach exposed, and told the referee, and the referee ignored it. So, like, fine, right? If you're gonna let everything go, sweet, cool, do that, but be consistent. And he wasn't consistent. And then so Cannon and the keeper are all wrestling, and then Peck's at the back post, slots it in, goal. Now, if you're being consistent and you're blowing up all the time, it's a no goal. If you're letting fouls go in the box, that's not a foul. Like, you can't just say, because there's a goal scored, I'm actually going to take action. When there's no goal scored, you'll let things go. And the amount of times he blew up for fouls on the Southampton players, every time I had a corner, whenever it beat the first man, was insane. Like, I think we only had 3 or 4 corners. Like, how many corners did we have? Let's have a look at the stats. Because that was another issue for me of the whole game. The situation. So we had 4 corners. I thought we had far more than that. It felt like we had a lot more corners. It might have been crosses then going in, and the referee blowed for a foul. But there was balls going into the box. I thought they were corners. They might have been crosses. But a lot of the time, the referee was blowing for a foul. And to me, that was just like out of order, wrong. And he kept doing that, and it was mega disappointing. And so yeah, his definition. And when you look back at it, you could see it was a fact. Yeah, Cannon and the referee and the keeper were sort of wrestling. Was it enough to stop the keeper getting to the ball? Probably. Was the keeper also giving it some? Probably. Was Cannon making any attempt for the ball? No, it wasn't. It was all over the keeper. And so when I reflect on it, I'm like, it's probably not a goal. But when you weight that against every decision he made when there's wrestling in the box, and he didn't blow up on our players, like, we should have had at least 2 penalties then. I'm fine with you not giving the goal, but be frigging consistent when there's a foul in the box, give the penalty, and he never did. So I think we've got a right to be aggrieved. Have I changed my opinion since I left the game? Yes. Have I watched the highlights and I do think actually it was a pen? I didn't after the game. Did I think it probably was a disallowed goal? I think if we'd have had that goal scored against us and I'd seen that replay, I'd have been a little bit disappointed. So I think it was a harsh decision by the referee, and I think it could have gone either way, and I think either decision could easily be justified. But I was pretty disappointed with. I mean, the referee was atrocious. And then towards the end of the game, Danny Ings was running through. I mean, I thought Danny Ings did well when he come on. Like, he didn't have much time, but he did well when he come on. And he run through into the box, on the edge of the area, and got taken out. Literally got taken out. There's no doubt it was a foul. The referee blew it. Couldn't believe it. He gave it. But, and the Unitedites were brilliant. Like, they were absolutely, like, made me laugh. And I didn't know whether to laugh or sort of explode because of the referee. So, Harmer puts the ball down. It's in an awesome position for him. Like, this is Harmer territory. I'm thinking this is 2-2. Awesome. Harmer scores, takes his top off, gets a booking. I win my bet. But I can't believe Harmer didn't get booked. Like, the referee's dealing cards out. The one person who typically always gets booked didn't get booked. But great. I don't want Gus getting banned, so that's cool for me. Anyway, the referee blows the foul. Harmer puts the ball down. I think. Is it McCallum stood next to him, left footer, so I think it was McCallum. And one of them's going to take it, right? The referee, in his infinite wisdom, puts his little spray down, then starts walking. And the fans were counting each pace, and he went 1, 2, 3, 4. He stopped at 8, and everyone's going mad. It's like, we've seen you walk 8 steps. It's 10 yards. Walk the 10 yards, and he walks 8 and just stops and lets the wall stay there. So Gus is like, are you going to move them back? And they're not moving back. And it's like, guys, like, mate, you're really not doing yourself any favours. Like, you couldn't look any worse right this moment up to this point, and now you're doing that. Like, what? What are you doing? Like, how are you allowed to get away with this? Anyway, he does it. Gus fires the free kick. Inevitably, it hits the wall. Clearly, it goes out for a corner. We don't beat the first man. We get 5 minutes of injury time. It's the same old crap. Knocking the ball around. Nothing really penetrating. We didn't look like scoring. We're not going to win Cannon up front. Ings put in a lot of work. I really rated Ings. I wish we'd have started him, put him on instead of play to Cannon and got him on earlier. Hopefully now he's getting back to fitness and he looked fit. There was no adverse reaction. I'm hoping that the change moving forward won't be Cannon, because he was absolutely terrible. I'd love to see him succeed, but we can't keep giving him time if he's not going to produce. He doesn't deserve to start. He doesn't deserve to come on as sub. And until we see some more from him, I'm not going to change my opinion. I don't think he's good enough. So yeah, 5 minutes extra time played, I think it was, and the ref blew up, and obviously we're all booing and hissing at him and calling him every name under sun, and rightly so. And I hope something gets done about it. I just think it was a disgusting performance from a referee. I don't think he got every decision wrong now in hindsight, so I'm not as angry as I was after the game and in the pub after. But even now, I'm still angry about it. I think that the referee made so many bad decisions, so many one-sided decisions, and I think he became the centre of attention for the game. And as I've always said, referees should be invisible. We shouldn't even know they're there. They're there to keep the peace and keep the game flowing. And he did quite the opposite, and he made it all about him. And I hope I never see that dickhead again at the Lane, because he was absolutely terrible. And he needs to be investigated. Even if he got those decisions right in key moments, I think there were other decisions that I just can't understand why. Like that free kick, that foul on Obene, I don't know how he couldn't see that. It was pushed in the back. Like, yes, you could argue it was shoulder, but it was so aggressive and in the back of him. Like when he was running, and he's beating his man. So it's not like they were side by side. He was in front of him, and he's tried to shoulder barge him and just knocked him over. And it's like, when you're running at pace, that's not, if he's not given the foul, it's a dive. So book or Benny, but he didn't do that. So like that was one really pivotal, that and the me tackle, and then Wilder. Those 3 key moments that had nothing to do with goals. They should have done. But really, I think after that me tackle as well, the free kick, that's when they got the penalty from that move. So all the decisions that he made that were poor had a direct impact on the game. And therefore, the referee influenced that game. And therefore, that's why, maybe I'm being a bit dramatic calling it corruption, but it was dodgy, man. It was weird, and it was just frustrating. But, right, I'm going to summarise and wrap up now. Look, I thought, I think there was a marked improvement from Sheffield United. I think there's a lot of reasons to be positive. I think the team looked to be coming together now and gelling. I think that defence looks much more solid. Yes, we conceded 2 goals, but first goal, dopey from everybody. Need to wake up. Second goal was a moment of class. I can't fault that second goal. So on the whole, much better performance. Our record against Southampton is terrible anyway, so I weren't expecting anything from the game. But I thought we were much better. Marked improvement and reasons to be positive. We do play Hull on Saturday, and McBurney is on fire, so we know what's going to happen on Saturday. Like, you can put money on a McBurney goal. But I'm positive. We Hull aren't that good a team in comparison to Southampton. I think if we play as well as we played on Saturday, we'll get at least a point, hopefully 3. So I'm being positive now. We're not going to have Wilder on the sideline, which I think will have an impact. I think not seeing Chris there is a big thing for the players. Will that have an impact? Who knows? But I'm looking forward to Saturday and hoping that we can't get a worse referee, right? Dare I say it, touch wood. I'm out of jinxed us again now, but we can't get a referee as bad as that. And let's hope we get some decisions going for us, and let's hope we get a little bit of luck, because I think we deserve it after the other night. Look, guys, thanks for keeping with me this long, listening to my rambles and my rant. But I just feel compelled that I wanted to give a bit of my view of the game. Look, if you made it this far, thank you so much. And let me know in the comments, do you agree with what I've said? All my analysis, do you agree with it? Do you think we were hard done by, or do you think it was a fair result? I'd love to get your take on this. And also, do you like me doing these one-off, like, passionate rants about an individual game rather than summarising things? Is this in-depth analysis, do you like it? Is it something you'd like to see more of? Let me know. Cheers, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and let's look forward to Saturday, and most importantly, up the Blades.